All right, guys, so today we're going to talk about basic tools and fire starting for this next video here. So here is what I generally have on hand, plus or minus some, but these are just some good options that I like to take a lot. So we'll start off with tools. So we'll put the hatchet and saw. So knives. A good fixed blade knife is always a must. Now, this is not an expensive one. It's a Ukraine company called BPS. It is a Scandi grind and probably about a good 5-inch blade. And it is, all the way through. It's a full tang. And the sheath even comes with a nice ferro rod, which goes in with the fire start, and we'll get to. So another example of a fixed blade is this kukri. Now this kukri can serve dual purposes. So this kukri can serve as a normal fixed blade knife, but the heavy blade and the weight forward design make it great for chopping as well. So then we have other knives like pocket knives, and one of my favorite knives to carry is an SAK, a Swiss Army knife. And I have one right here. Forgive me, I was not prepared. So my kit, we'll go through my kit that I take out into the woods with me on hikes and whatever else. This lives in it. So it's a great multi-tool. Now you could choose other multi-tools if you want, with pliers and whatnot, but this has a single hand operating knife blade, which is fantastic. And it's a good solid 2.5, 3 inches. So it's respectable. It's not huge, but it is respectable. Let's see if I can do this one-handed. I'm not working with a tripod today. So, but this also has a decent saw blade. And now the saw blade has a 90-degree edge. So does the kukri knife and the fixed blade knife. And I do have another option that I'm wearing around my neck, and I do this quite often, is wear a neck knife. And this is a smaller knife, a Puko design, also a 90-degree edge, which is good for striking ferro rods. So it doesn't always have to be huge. This is a very capable knife. And so is this, because of the multi-tools. You got a screwdriver, you have it all in there. You have your classic flathead screwdriver, bottle opener, you have your can opener, like I said, saw blade, a respectable knife blade. And besides knives, I like to carry a good folding saw or a good hatchet, right? And you could pick your flavor. So these are by no means expensive. This is like a $40 or $50 hatchet, but it serves the purpose. And this is the Bahco Laplander. It is a fantastic saw. I've been using this for several years now, and you can see it has plenty of use on it, and it is still cutting like the day that I bought it. So at a very minimum, when I go camping or I go trekking out in the woods, I will have an SAK and a small fixed blade. This is my very bare minimum right here. Sometimes it could be that fixed blade, depending on what I'm feeling. But I could get a lot accomplished with this and this. So, and if I have the weight and the room, I'll take a saw. My ideal would be that right there. That would be my ideal setup. The Bahco Laplander and a good solid fixed blade, whatever that may be. So moving on to fire starting. There are many different ways to get a fire going, but having the ability to make fire is very essential. Now, you can do the classic old flint and steel and char cloth, which I have char cloth in this little tin. In the tin, I can make more char cloth in. if I need to with just regular straight old cotton. You have your classic old ferrocerium rod, magnesium bar. So you would take your spine of the knife, scrape off the magnesium material until you got a nice little pile, and then you would strike your ferro rod and ignite that magnesium, and then you could take twigs and whatever else you got on hand to get the fire going. Another good option that I like to carry when I have the room is some good storm-proof matches. Now these are the UCO brand, and these things are absolutely fantastic. Now I have a whole bunch in here. It's got spare strikers, the strikers right there, and these burn for ages, and they are 100% waterproof. You could actually light them, dunk them in the water, and pull them out, and they will still continue to burn. And they will burn, you can see how large that match head is. They will burn for a long time. These, you know, they don't weigh that much, and in a waterproof container, they don't take up a whole ton of room. It's a good option to have. That's a repair kit. We won't get into those. Ferrocerium rods. Here's just yet another example of a ferrocerium rod. I have Gorilla Tape wrapped around this, which I do quite often to my ferrocerium rods, because Gorilla Tape is extremely flammable. Once it burns, it stays burning, and it burns really hot. I always carry some tinder materials like these fire plugs. These are fantastic, right? They're waterproof. You just break them open, fluff them up, and they will take a spark from a ferrocerium rod. I also like to carry fatwood. Now, fatwood in the north is not really that common. I believe it comes from the yellow pines mainly, but you can still buy it. I could buy it up here. So I buy it, and I always bring a couple of sticks of fatwood. Then you don't know what fatwood is? It's basically pine, resin-infused pine. So when a tree dies, the pine sap will all collect to the lowest points and to the joints and junctures of branches and stuff like that. So you'll find it naturally, it's quite easy to spot. If you find a fallen tree that's mostly rotted away, you'll see the parts that are left that are solid are going to be fatwood. Plus, when you smell it, it has a very resinous, piney type of scent to it. So another fire starter that is really cool is these aviation survival spark lights. So these are given to the aviation boys as a survival part of their survival kit, and it comes with some of those little fire tinder plugs and a fancy little like lighter type striker doohickey. So these are great. They don't take up much room, and I think there's like 7 or 8 of these fire plugs in there, so it can go a long way, and it comes in a nice little case. So that's my fire kit. That is my selection of tools that I like to generally carry. They do vary. Like, I have other saws and I have other knives, of course. This is just what I happen to bring out with me. I'm going camping, and I didn't want to have 57,000 different items with me, so I'm fitting everything in my backpack. So this is it, and yeah, so getting fire going and being able to cut cordage and process materials and process game if need be. It's very important. So choose your tools wisely. It's all personal preference. Like I said, in a lot of cases, I'm going out with these 2 cutting tools right here. And sometimes, if I could afford it, I will go out with these 2 right here and this, if I could afford the weight. If I'm in my vehicle-based, I will definitely most certainly carry a much larger knife or a hatchet or both if I could afford it, because it is very nice to be able to split logs, cut down logs, and split logs to get good dry wood on the inside. Yeah, I mean, this is what I carry for fire starting gear. And I think the next video, we're going to go over what I carry when I go out. Like, if I actually go out on a hike, if it's just a day hike or whatnot or what have you. I have a nice little haversack kit and canteen. So I have a canteen and a canteen cover and a nice haversack. And this and this, plus what's in my pockets, is what I generally carry, you know, when I go fishing. Definitely when I go camping, I still bring it because I venture off the campsite. Oh, I almost forgot. You can't forget a good old classic Bic lighter when it comes to fire starting, because it's the easiest. Instant gratification. And if it gets wet, you can dry it out on your pant leg, blow that sucker out, get the water out and everything. But yeah, so next video, we're going to go with what I carry personally. And this is all my survival. So this actually lives in here with my SAK. So this, we'll put it up here. You can say hi to Piper. But this, I can survive for a couple of days. Easy, no problem, because I have plenty of room in here where I could put some snacks and food and stuff like that. So, and I have fire starting, I have cordage, I have cover, I have navigation, I have maps, I have water, I have, you know, canteen with water, plus I have other stuff in here for water. We'll get into that. This is another video. So this one's running on too long. So there you go, guys. These are the tools that I generally bring when I go camping. And some of the stuff even just lives in my truck. So there you go. Like and subscribe, guys.